Welcome to Minutes with Linus, brought to you by Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond. Embark on this journey with me, Linus Woods Mullins, your certified holistic living and wellness expert for women over 40, as we explore tips for an ever-growing mind, body, and spirit in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Wow, feels like it's been such a long time since I've had a chance to talk with you. I'm going to take a moment out to share my page real quick so that other people can see it as well. How has everybody been? I am finally rested from running around parts of the East Coast and also traveling back. Boy, that was an interesting experience I went through while I was traveling. But I'm glad to say that I am back safe and sound, and I have some tips for you when it comes to how to be well in your brain. I'm so excited about getting a chance to share this information with you because I actually am using some of this and I am experiencing some really good results about my brain functioning and being able to remember things and just basically being more engaged in my mind. It really is helping a lot. But first, I want to encourage you all to purchase my new book, Power Up Superwoman, Courageous Stories by Women Who Have Been Through Some Things. And there's 17 of us all together that have written and contributed to this book. And it has been wonderful. And the book came out on the 25th, and my order of books are coming in. And if you can order it today, I will be able to get you a signed copy, something specially addressed just to you. Here is, I don't know if you can see that, I hope you can see it. Here is the bit.ly for you to purchase the book. Just click on that link or go ahead and copy and paste that link to your URL, and I'll put it back up a little bit later on today so that you can purchase your book and you get a signed copy. I'm very excited about the book. We've gotten some great reviews. So Power Up Superwoman, the courageous stories of empowerment by women who have been through some things like me. So we all have been through some things, haven't we? I think so. I think we all go through things. And I also think that there it is right there, Power Up Superwoman, in the process of our lives and the things that we go through, sometimes we also, it impacts us. It impacts how we process information. The things that we go through in our lives impacts our health, impacts our spirits. And this book not only tells you our story, but also tells you the things that we learned. And I definitely share some of, I guess, my experience in finding out that I was suffering from post-traumatic stress. Didn't even know it. Got to get the book to read how I found out and what happened to me that was post-traumatic stress. A lot of times people think of post-traumatic stress as something that's situated with physical violence, but it's not always physical violence that causes post-traumatic stress. Sometimes it's the violence of emotions or the violence of the suddenness of what you're experiencing. Sometimes that could be violent in terms of how your brain and your emotions encode what you've just got through going through. So definitely take a look at my book. I tell my story, Power Up Superwoman, and there's the bit.ly. Okay. And, I'm using a new platform. So bear with me for a second so I can figure out how to make sure I am sharing this properly. Let's see. Okay, I am, because I see Dolores has it. She's sharing it. Thank you, Dolores. I appreciate that. In fact, you guys, let me know if you're on so that I can say hello to you. Dolores McIntosh, thank you for the support. I always appreciate and love anything that you do to support me. I appreciate that. And wellness women, let me say this to you. Boy, you have just lightened up my life in terms of all the things that you have done in support. I mean, within the last few days, something like 25 people have joined the group. And I'm so excited about that. I think that's the most that anybody has done. Okay, I'm getting ready to share now. Let me go ahead and go to my other pages. I've got 2 groups, 5 pages. I won't share to all of them, but I'm definitely going to share to the Wellness Woman group so they know that I'm on. So hold on a second here. Okay. Sharing too. And if you haven't joined the Wellness Woman group and you are a midlife woman, and midlife woman is, I guess, 40 and over. But my daughters, they belong to the group because they like the information that we share. If you want to get to 40, you should belong to the Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond group. It is a mind, body, spirit wellness group of women from all over the world, not just women of color. There's women from all over the world. Someone just from Ireland the other day joined, and someone from Canada. And of course, I mean, they're just from everywhere. So definitely, please join the group. Okay, looks like I'm going to turn this off. It looks like they have it now. Fantastic. So today I wanted to talk about the brain and to how to keep it healthy. And before I get started, let me make sure you know that this particular segment is sponsored by a group of men, young men who I met while I was in DC. They have a tea company that specializes in ginger herbal teas, and they are awesome. The name of the company is Dupury. I hope I'm saying that right, or Dupury. And I'm going to put some information out about them a little bit later on today in the group. So be looking for that. But they make organic teas. And there's a wonderful video I'm going to be sharing later on today about their tea. And you can go to their website and order the tea. It's herbal tea. They made some for me when I was visiting their home in DC. And oh, it was fantastic. I mean, it was so pure and strong. I could taste all the flavors. They have 4 different flavors, but it's all ginger. And ginger, as you know, is one, or should know, is one of the things you definitely need to be taking in, hopefully on a daily basis, because it helps to energize you. It's so good for your body, especially after our tender age of 40 and 50. You want to make sure that you have ginger in your diet some kind of way. But anyway, let's talk about some of the things that you can do to enhance your brain function and your brain health. Now, in the past, I've talked about the foods that you need to eat, and you can go back and take a look at some of the lives and all that. Because I'm not going to go over that as much in detail as I normally would do, because I've already done that one. These are other things that you can do besides just eating foods. And of course, you want to eat foods that have omega-3. Okay, that's very important. You want to make sure that you are eating foods that are, whole food eating. If you can get rid of the processed foods as much as possible that have a lot of chemicals that don't go well with our brain health, that would be really good. I will refer you to my blog. I'll repost it again. That talks about things that you need to eat to have a healthy brain, to get rid of brain fog, so that you can remind yourself of this. But these are some other things that I'm talking about that you can do. My first tip is, and this might be interesting to you, is play some games online or on your phone. Yes, it energizes your brain. It keeps your brain active. And one thing I've noticed about midlifers, sometimes we get kind of comfortable in our habits and we don't want to learn anything new because it feels a little uncomfortable, But I say get outside your comfort zone, okay? And challenge yourself to learn something new. Good morning, Addie Dixon. How are you? It's wonderful to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. It's a great idea to go ahead and learn something new, okay? And since we're always in our phones all the time anyway, I mean, in one form or another, you're probably not as bad as me because I do business on my phone all the time. In fact, my daughter, when I was visiting her in LA, she complained. She said I was like a teenager. She said, Mom, you're constantly on the phone. And I really was just working on the phone, working. But regardless of whether you're working or having fun on the phone, take a little time to get some of those apps that are good for brain function. Luminosity is one that I've played a lot of times. But if you just put in your app search, apps to help the brain or games to play, any kind of game that you can play could be very good for developing your brain muscle. Sometimes what happens when we retire, we stop learning. And I think it's important for us to continue to learn because your brain, that's what the brain is for. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And one thing that they've shown, that studies have shown, and I'm basing this just upon the research that I've done and the classes that I've taken on holistic health, research has shown that Alzheimer's, if you have a propensity to have it, is fostered in so much more quickly if you're not using your brain. If you're not actively learning, actively using your brain to learn new things or to do new hobbies or to, change a lifestyle habit, all that involves the brain. But playing games, whether you're playing online games or playing games with your children or your family or your friends, something that makes you think, that is key when it comes to making sure your brain stays healthy. Another thing that you probably don't want to hear, but is really true, is exercise. It's so important, not just because you want to stay thin or look good or any of that. It's important for your brain health because it gets the blood pumping. And when you get that blood pumping, then eventually it gets to the brain as well. When you are sitting and sedentary, playing those games, that's great that you're exercising the brain, but then you want to feed the brain with nutrients, right? So one way to do that is to get your blood pumping to all the organs of your body, including your brain. It really does need nourishment, even more so as we age. And, you don't have to start like training for a marathon. Like I always say, you don't have to go crazy and all of a sudden start doing stuff that you would not normally do. What you can do is just make sure you do it at least 30 minutes a day, whether it's going out walking or swimming or maybe, you enjoy dancing, anything that gets you moving on a regular basis, stretching, yoga. Yoga is great for the brain. One reason why yoga is great is because it helps to lower the cortisol levels in your body. And when the cortisol levels, that's that hormone that is secreted whenever the flight or fight response is solicited, whenever we get stressed out, that cortisol comes and it can help cause brain fog. Cortisol also, too much of it can have us thicken up. That's why we start gaining more weight in our tummies as we get older, because we're already struggling with cortisol while we're in menopause. And then we struggle with cortisol even more so when we're stressed. So you couple being stressed out with being a midlife female, they don't go together, not at all. That's why I have a special course called Distress the Mess. It's really important for your health to keep stress at bay and to minimize how it impacts your health. Otherwise, you end up with all kinds of extra problems as well as extra pounds. So when it comes to your brain health, exercise regularly. The other thing is, and this is something that I know you've heard about, but do you do it? You got to spend some quiet time every single day, at least 5 minutes a day. You need to spend some quiet time, whether it's through meditation, through prayer, through just sitting and closing your eyes for a bit. Meditation is excellent for lowering the cortisol, but it's also excellent in terms of quieting all the voices that go on in our head. You can focus on something else during meditation. Focus on scripture, focus on affirmations, focus on your breath. But just slow yourself down. It lowers the cortisol, it helps the brain to clear, and it gives you more of a sense of peace. When you're constantly like this all the time, hair on fire stage, what I talk about all the time, when you're 30, 20s and 30s is a hair on fire stage. Well, at this stage of the game, our hair should not be on fire anymore. We should be learning to relax and not take everything so seriously and holding on to stuff. We know by midlife, by this age, we should know that this too shall pass. Whatever is going on that's causing a bit of stress, taking the time to remind yourself that this too shall pass. I will survive this because I've survived this. You have a frame of reference. That should calm you down. And then being able to just stop for a minute, close your eyes and focus on your breathing. If you can do belly breathing, that's very good. Belly breathing means, when you breathe in, your belly goes out. And when you breathe out, your belly goes in. It's kind of the reverse of how we normally breathe. But focusing on the breath is a way to help get clear in your brain. It gives your brain a little bit of a break. It gives it an opportunity to refuel. In fact, when you're meditating, it gives the whole body an opportunity to refuel, much like when you are asleep. Maybe not for the same length of time, but just enough. to be able to keep your body from being in that state all the time. I'm laughing because I do still get like that at 62. I know I shouldn't, but I do. But now I know that when I get like that, I know how to stop myself. Oh, wait a minute. Let me just be quiet. Another thing you can do for your brain, and I think this is a great idea, and I have not done this because I've always told myself I don't have a gift, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn a new language in 2018. Yes, I am. I haven't decided which one yet. I'm in California, so I guess it should be Spanish, but I took French for years and German for years, and I'm going to choose French probably. And I'm going to learn that new language. Learning something as new as a new language really engages the brain. It really does. And you're going to be ending up using other neurons in the brain that you don't normally use because you already know your language. You know English. But being multilingual, not only does it open up a whole new world for you in terms of being able to communicate with other people outside your culture who don't speak English, but it opens up a whole new world and compartment of the brain that you haven't really developed and used in the same way since you first started learning how to speak English as a child. Think about that. You can start using areas of the brain that you first used when you were a child. You can use it right now. And there are some apps that can help you, something called Duolingo. That's a free app that can help you learn how to speak another language. And there's V.I.B.E, Rosetta Stone. You pay for those, but those are very good too. You can also go to a meetup. Have you guys ever gone to a meetup? I've been to a few. Meetup is a great way to meet people that you would not normally meet. But they have language speaking meetups where you go and they just speak the language all day long. That's one way to immerse yourself in the language. Almost as good as actually flying there and learning that way, but maybe a little bit safer because if you have to find someone to speak English within the group, they're there. Whereas if you're in Bangladesh, I don't know. You may not be able to find someone right away that can speak the language that you're used to speaking. But it's a great way to practice what you've learned. So you get that app or whatever vehicle you're going to use to learn this new language, and then you try it out in a meetup group. And there are meetup groups. Just go to meetup.com. There are meetup groups for just about every topic, and definitely one for learning a new language. And my last thing kind of feeds into the meetup group, but it's so important as we age, and it's something that we do not do enough of as we age, and that is socialize. I had an epiphany moment when I was in DC. I had been with my daughters and the 30-somethings for oh my gosh, 9 days. So I was just thirsting for someone to talk to over 50. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and it was definitely energizing to be around the 30-somethings. But the things they focus on are just oh my God, that is so not an issue. You'll find out in 30 years how much of an issue this is not. But it's age appropriate for them. So I was just so excited and awakened to the importance of socializing, getting out there and spending time with other women or men and women, whichever one, but just socializing. It engages your brain. You get those feel-good hormones going. The serotonin starts going, the other happy hormones start going. And I wrote a blog about this the other day, and I posted it. I told you that there is a hormone that's secreted more so than any other time. Oxytocin. It's an oxy something. Not the painkiller one. But anyway, there is a hormone that's secreted at this time more so than any other time when you're spending time with your girlfriends. And I know that we get busy and we're so used to thinking that we don't have time, or sometimes we just want to hibernate and don't feel like getting out. But if you start hibernating and don't feel like getting out, and you're the second or third weekend in a row like that, I highly suggest that you stop that and get out. Call a girlfriend, go to a meetup, arrange maybe a club or something. For instance, one of the things, when I went to DC, I was going to tell you, when I went to DC, I connected with an old high school friend of mine that I hadn't seen since I was 17. She picked me up, or I met her at a restaurant, and she was meeting there with her friends because they have a book club. And it was just so wonderful to meet new people, meet new women my age, who make it a point to meet with each other, see each other at least once a month. And Addie says, guilty. Oh, Addie, you're not the only one. I sit here in my bubble at my home, but I love my home. I get very comfortable. But then I realize that if I want to be renewed and restored and be refreshed, I need to get out and experience life with other people besides my husband and my kids. I mean, come on now. There are other people in the world, and I need to do that. So spending that time with them was so wonderful. Oh, and as it turned out, I actually picked up a couple of clients meeting with them. So that was great too. But meeting new women with like minds and a new environment. And here's what happened when I got home as a result of socializing just more in general with the 30-somethings and the 50, 60-somethings. When I got home, the day after I got home, I wrote like 5 blogs. I did my promotional strategy for my new book. I, met with my interns. I put together some new videos for my new coaching programs that I'm rolling out. I did all this new stuff. I said, gee, I should be tired after traveling all day. Why am I so energized? And I tell you, it was because I was in new surroundings with new people, and it just re-energized my brain. So I want to encourage you to socialize, to get out there with like minds, get out there with new minds, get out there, be with people. It's good for your brain. It's good for your overall mind, body, spirit wellness. I am an example of that. I got so much done after doing that for just 10 days. I was gone for 10 days, and it was a fantastic space of time that I was gone. Getting out there and spending time with my daughter and her friends. It was so affirming. My oldest daughter, all my daughters are doing well, but my oldest daughter lives so far away, and she usually comes home, and I don't go there as much. She always comes, to California at least 3 times a year. So I decided that I was going to go there and spend some time with her. And it was wonderful to see her doing so well, wonderful to meet her friends, and just wonderful to be in a brand new environment. It was re-energizing. And yes, I even changed my hair for a second. I don't know how long this is going to last, ladies. I mean, it's raining in California, and I don't do rain with hair like this. I'm pretty sure that I'll be back to my natural hairstyle within a week. It's already kind of doing its own thing. But I just wanted something new, something different for a while. It's been almost 2 years since I've straightened my hair out, and I decided I'd give it a try. But anyway, those are the things that I suggest you do when it comes to energizing your brain. And if you are just now tuning in, then you need to play it back because I'm going to get off. But before I go, a couple of things. I wanted to share with you the website of my sponsor. Let's see if you can see it. There it is. Go to that website and take a look at this business that these wonderful young African-American millennial men have put together. I just loved their energy. They're 3 brothers from Haiti. They're here in the they grew up in the United States, but their cultural background is Haiti. And when they were growing up, it was part of their morning ritual to drink ginger tea. So what they've done is they've taken that ritual of ginger tea and coupled it with other flavors like blueberry and peach and lemon and I think one other. And they've got these wonderful loose leaf herbal fresh teas. And, I'm always about patronizing small businesses and especially patronizing new businesses. And this is a new business. They've got a small business loan from a special grant that required them to write about, their product. And it's just an awesome product. I can't say enough good things about it. It tastes delicious. And it's that kind of ginger where afterwards you feel like, got a little pep in your step. So it's called Dopery, and they're also on Facebook. So go and like their Facebook page and take a look at their teas and order at least 1 bag and check it out. It's only $14.99. It'll be the best $14.99 that you've ever spent in terms of tea. It's really refreshing and good. Patronize these young men's businesses because I think it's important for us to reach down and help our millennials because these aren't easy times. These are tough times economically for all of us, but especially for the millennials as they try to, find their way. It's a little different than it was when we were trying to find our way. So we want to do what we can to keep it going. And also don't forget to take a look at my page. And I don't know if you can see that. It's Power Up Superwoman. It's bit.ly. That is my book page. Find out what the book is about. And if you feel so led, purchase the book. And right now, if you purchase it today, I will definitely give you a signed copy. And by today, I mean this weekend. See, the weekend, the 3rd, up to March 3rd. If you purchase it to March 3rd, the book will come to me. I'll sign a special message to you and then send it to you. I know some of you have already ordered the book. Thank you so much for those of you who did. And I'm waiting for the books to get here. They should be here any day now, and I'll be able to sign a special message to all of you. And it will be a special message. It's not going to be one of those things where they put the machine in and they sign it. No, I'm going to sign a special message to you. And I'm also going to do this. I don't know if you can see these or not, but these are cards that I make. I don't know. Can you see them? I can't see them. The light is wrong. But anyway, I make these cards with gel pens, and they have scriptures and affirmations on them. So you're going to get one of these also, made by me with love. Insert it in the book, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed this Facebook Live. Let me know if you have any ideas you have about keeping your brain fresh. Please put it in the comments. Also, do me a favor if you can and share this video with others that you think would be interested in talking about things that you need to do to be well in your mind, body, and spirit as you age. Thanks so much for listening. My name is Lennis, and I am a holistic living and wellness coach for women over 40. I'll see you again next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you have something to share, please comment below. For more Wellness Woman videos, be sure to click the subscribe button below and check out my Facebook group, Wellness Woman 40 and Beyond. But most importantly, don't forget to love yourself and educate, encourage, and empower your mind, body, spirit wellness.